Hello, people. It is Sade of Tuition Chat, and today we're going to talk about the concepts that we understand of one another and the misconceptions. Okay, so there's been a lot of energy moving in the ethers when it comes to Adam and Eve not being in unison. Okay, um, Adam and Eve, man and woman, right? So I don't even know who this woman is. But I've seen a few of her videos and I tried to do a remix of this and it wouldn't let me for some reason. I'm not sure what's the deal. But I'm going to play this and then I guess I'm going to do a remix from there.
If you're not somebody they own, they don't give a damn about you. I keep telling y'all, men are incapable of love.
I don't own my
they
wife.
can't. They're incapable.
I don't think I own my wife. I don't dictate nothing to her.
I'm not. If you're.
Okay. So, you know, you got to take a moment sometimes. You can't just go head straight in because your first response could be something very negative and detrimental to the individual and they won't get the healing. So, let's take a moment of silence for this sister because she's hurting. She's in pain. Okay. She's in pain because she has not had good experiences. And she's on a platform in which her voice is carrying to large groups and she is inciting this false evidence appearing real about men. She has no good examples in her life. It's like she can't even look across at anyone else's relationship and say, wow, this man is this way. This man is that way. She has compiled the entire, let's see, men and women, there's more women than men. So out of 8 billion people on the planet, let's just say out of that 8 billion, 3 billion is men. Out of 3 billion men on the planet, all of them, they just want to own you. They're incapable of love. Men display love differently from women, okay? Their love runs very deep. It's the purest love that I've experienced. I love my mother. That's my ace. That's my best friend. However, I've had to grow, learn those lessons as to how my father displays love. It is different from my mother. The female is going to be the nurturer. It's going to be the one that's going to pat your boo-boos. It's going to, sing sweet nothings to you. If she's healed, right? Because we're talking about healing. The male displays it in his devotion, his selflessness, how he pulls up and shows up for you each and every time in every way, how he protects you and provides provisions. Now, there is a toxic side of men that aren't healed, that have childhood traumas and bad relationships with their mother, their baby mothers. Women have done them wrong, used them. Again, healing has to occur. And it's not on the other side to heal. The vessel, the individual must heal to be able to interact and have better experiences. Because what she's been attracting into her reality has been these negative experiences. And though we have to get away from judging a book by its cover, we also have vision for a reason. To see if a food is spoiled, to see if it's a poisonous mushroom versus a non-poisonous one. If the water looks clear versus it doesn't. We have eyes for a reason to look on that very narrow electromagnetic spectrum to see visible color, visible light. And when I look at how she displays herself, her posture, she's leaning over, emulating, very masculine, and she might say she a tomboy, whatever floats your boat. She leaning over, she got a hat cocked to the side. Sometimes she got a hat cocked to the side with a wig. And it just displays this energy of she hasn't completely tapped into her feminine energy, so you're not going to attract a masculine man. Masculine men just aren't floating out here by the dozens. There's a lot of followers, and those followers are weak boys. This flip side with females. The Empress is enjoying her time or space interacting with other women. She is not on a dance floor bucked over half naked. She's not entertaining a bunch of men. She's not doing those things. So, sticking to the side of her understanding of men, men are very selfless when it comes to how they serve their family and how they display their love. It's more in the materialistic nature. Women are the intangible. So it's giving that nurturing, that care, that, okay, I see your scalp needs to be oiled. Let me massage it. Let me cook this food because I know, you've been coughing a little bit and it's good to remove mucus. Like, those are the things and the nature of a woman, a tapped in feminine woman. No woman that is actually tapped into her feminine nature is out here saying that all men just trying to control us and run things. No. We know men lead in the physical and women lead in the metaphysical. That's what it is. When you look at the biblical stories of Adam and Eve, it wasn't Eve following Adam out of the garden. It was Adam following Eve. Men do have a more lower nature because that's how they're designed. You can't be mad at God how men are designed. And they have to be that way so they can function and still in a fight, in a scuffle, be able to protect you, protect the family, defend and ward off anything that's coming you all's way, and still go back to loving and nurturing. If a man is to love as a woman does and still perform as a man, there's going to be conflict. It's going to be conflict. And she is having an internal conflict because she's trying to be hard and doesn't understand that relaxing in her feminine attracts so much to you. Baby, let me count the ways. From getting my car fixed, to advice, to connections, to networks, to resources, I am limitless as a woman. If there is struggle and strife with, say, my partner with another man, and he's expressing it to me, I, as the feminine energy, can step in and negotiate and use my feminine essence to communicate, because obviously when there's two men going at each other, the feminine energy is able to slice and separate and process that energy. Only a feminine energy. It's only two sides, masculine and feminine. And here it's like she wants to toe the line. There's the removal of the Most High, God, Allah, Oluwa. Because when you insert the Most High back into this, there's no way you can deny it. You're running on fumes of society. Society has come against you. And some people say, oh, it's in the black community. No, it's in the white community as well. Because guess what they had during a certain time frame, like the 2000s? Girls Gone Wild. So all the little white girls in college, when back in the day, women used to tell other women, oh, you go to college to find you a husband. Now Girls Gone Wild, we on spring break. Now we taking our tops off and they're videoing it. And then some are going back to hotel rooms and flipping and flopping and slipping and whopping. So that start to bleed over into another generation. Those generation that having children, they're teaching them those things. And it's a cycle. And it's like, you really believe that the Most High created man for us. First of all, there's not a whole bunch of different things to process and contemplate. It's man and woman. The Most High made us for us. The man literally fits inside of us. That design shows that we are the receivers. Just like in the plant kingdom or queendom, you look at a walnut, it looks like a brain. It's good for the brain. You open up a tomato, it looks like a heart. It's good for the heart. This is the Most High's design in creation. And for a person to start to go against that and have all this struggle and strife and not really like take a moment to say, hey, I haven't dated all the men throughout the planet. There's so many different cultures, languages. She obviously hasn't traveled. And if she's traveled, she hasn't immersed herself in the culture. She just gone from one site to another site that visitors and, tourists like to see. You haven't immersed yourself in culture. Go over to West Africa, go to Ghana, go to Nigeria, go to South Africa, go to Ethiopia, and you'll see how the men are treating the women. That protection, she is misconstruing as control. When a woman realizes that she has a divine purpose, she needs protection because elements will come against her, whether that be other women, whether that be other men that are going to come against her. So she needs protection. Yes, you can do it by yourself. Yes, you can provide this, that, and the other. That's why you can do all those things. However, there's a missing piece. Let me pull up the symbol of yin yang, because symbolism will help you draw into your mental what's happening. Yin is female. Yang is male. Right? Okay. So the black represents female, yin. The white represents yang, masculine. You see, they're pretty much full, except for this one dot. This one dot. An individual has to be as complete as possible before interacting with their partner. She has not healed herself. There's no matter how you want to flip it. If she want to come for me, because I did just send for her, I'm ready. However, there's so much that a person has to sit back and process, because you're speaking to the masses. And you're not speaking with the divine's voice. You're speaking with your hurt, egotistical, fallen angel voice. That's what you're doing. Again, black and white, night and day. That's what you're doing. If you're not speaking of God, who are you speaking? Who is it? Because it doesn't make sense for her to put so much energy behind guys are so bad. And even in that Charleston White episode, which I need to watch the whole thing, the clips of her, oh yeah, let me get in this book and read you where you forgot all the other books that show our anatomy, spirituality, energy, the negative and the positive, the light and the dark. You skimmed over that whole part. You said, look at this book right here. Let me show you my trauma, my testimonies of my trauma, and I need for all other women to follow suit. Because you're not building nobody up. You're further separating men and women. And I will not stand for that. I don't usually come for people. However, it's irritated me enough to say something. Men, all women aren't like this. Women, all men aren't like that. The best thing you can do is get better with yourself. So when you're expanding your network of interactions with people, you have pleasant ones. Because you're on a platform where when you go outside and you're interacting with men, and if they've heard how you speak and how you interact, you're still not going to have pleasant experiences, because they're either going to outcast you because they don't want to deal with that. Why even waste my time and energy on that? Or then the other side of it is, you repeating that negative bias. Yeah, I knew men, men can't stand like a strong woman. That's why they don't approach me. Well, you're negative. You're negative. You're not of the light. You're of the darkness, and you're trying to drive other people further into darkness. It's weird. It's so weird. I'm just like, yo, and she's gotten really far doing this. But I mean, that's, the fallen angel has a lot of people, a lot of souls trapped. And so I'm not surprised, because just as many beings like her, there are also the ones that follow the light in the Most High. And so that's where, I come in and use my voice box because it's not right. We're really coming, like, I'm going to do a tarot card reading. I think I'm going to do it in a different video as well. So it's like split apart, or I'll add it. I don't know. I might just, I'll split it. Surrounding how we can start to build these relationships. I'm going to talk about the masculine side, and I want to talk about the feminine side, because men are now at a point where it's almost like, it's like wrong or like criminal to be masculine, to see, to speak, to walk. Like, all these things are very much like on the chopping block. But who do you want to defend you? But you're like, I can have a gun. I can do this. The shortest man can beat up by the tallest woman. We're not the same. Stop comparing us as if we're the same. Get to know the differences and how to interact with those differences. Girl, what the freak? Let me start this tarot reading. I think I'm going to go I'll talk about men and like how they strategize and like how they think about things and how they view relationships, to give you more insight, because she missed anatomy class. She missed any type of religion. She missed basic understanding of yourself, looking at your body. Why are you just demonizing men? Just all men are bad. All of them are bad. I've had bad experiences. Well, your boundaries weren't up high enough, and you kept letting the crumbs come in. That's what happens. That's what happens to men and women. They don't have boundaries. We don't understand what is a boundary. And so we would maneuver it with a pure heart, but there's people that have been raised on survival, that have been raised in hurt. So they hurt other people. Hurt people hurt people. And so to experience that hurt, you're reliving it and telling everybody, no, fear it. I've been there. Get away from the hurt. Then how? So you think you're about to stop the world and there's not going to be any other beings created? It's sick. It is sickening. I'm going to do this tarot card reading for y'all. Tune into the next. Maybe I'll just make it as a number 2 and then the woman for 3. Because the 1 is the most high. The first number 2 is man and woman. And the 3 is man, woman, and child. If you want to say the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, it goes the Father, the Holy Spirit, which is the angels, some fallen angels in there. That's what she obviously following. The angels, and then man, which is us, man and woman, in the physical, in the flesh, in our spacesuit. Y'all, it's like it really saddens me because I'm very much optimistic. There was periods of time in my life where I kind of felt like, let me hold myself back because of how men are acting. But at no point did I completely say, oh, well, men are just so bad. Because I have a father, I have uncles, I know other men. How could I live that and be like completely men are bad? I could be like, well, let me refrain from dealing with men because, you know, maybe the ones that I'm around aren't ready for what I'm ready for. And like with her, if you know yourself, if you're focused on getting to know yourself and centering yourself, you're not so focused on what are men are doing. Because when your boundaries are proper, you're going to attract in, and men are going to really treat you well. Men are very chivalrous. She needs to go back and listen to some before the 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s. Listen to that music. Even 1800s, 1600s, before Christ, and listen to how men were displaying their love. Men love very deeply, but there are some toxic ones out there that are wicked. But if you put all of them in the same pile, how you gonna know which is which? We gotta do better. Anyway, I'm off this thing. Like, share, subscribe. Pass this message off to someone else. If you're interested in the tarot card reading, I'm going to place it as the caveat number 2 to this video for the masculines and number 3 for the females. Okay, so this will be number 1. Holla.